Hey Leos, and welcome to your November 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead. And ouch, you guys have some pretty heavy archetypes coming in. I think that you guys are one of the most emphasized signs of the month to sort of be having a really big healing experience. You have a lot of major arcana, you have a lot of minor arcana that represent sort of a turning point experience. I do feel like you guys are definitely having a turning point this month and that you are definitely coming to terms with some of the things that have happened and perhaps experiencing trauma in a new way, as I don't necessarily feel like it's a month where you experience trauma per se, although you can. It's sort of something that you would expect, though. It's not unexpected, because whenever the Tower is in a reading, I always say it's like a long time coming. Usually this type of thing has been building for a really long time. So I think that anything difficult that happens to you in November, you've been able to see coming, but of course that doesn't necessarily change what's happening or change the difficulty of what you're going through. But, you know, November is going to be a defining point for you guys, and I know that we've been talking about it for a long time. I know that it hasn't been the easiest experience for Leos over the last year, but it comes to a head here, as I feel that December will be much more positive for you. I feel that you'll be having a lot more nice experiences then, if you can confront things here, and that has been the general message for all of the signs this month. It's like, there are difficulties. All of 2017 has been sort of a, defining time for everyone. Everyone has difficulties that they're going through. Everyone has these traumas that they've had. And now that Jupiter is in Scorpio, there's this opportunity here in the beginning to confront it all, to solve the conflict, to solve the problems within yourself, and be able to redo your output of universal energy, which will redo what it inputs into your life. So really take some time to think about where did I cause this? What choices did I make that put me here? It's not a good time to be the victim. It's not a good time to be thinking, oh, all of these people put me through difficult situations, because it's true. I mean, definitely for Leos, at least, you guys have been not necessarily treated so wonderfully by other people, but there's always a part within us that creates that generates those types of experiences where we're not treated well by other people. Usually we have not treated ourselves so well, so the universe thinks, okay, we need to make this person aware of how they're treating themselves, so we're going to send in people who treat them bad so that it highlights it. However, if you keep putting all your blame off onto other people, and all these other people that the universe have sent in, and you don't have the message click, you don't click that it's coming from within you, it'll just keep happening over and over again until you do. November for you guys is a wonderful month to realize, wow, I did that. What did you do, Leo? What did you do? And it's not necessarily good or bad, but it's just a beautiful month to surrender to whatever that is. To think, okay, maybe I wasn't the protagonist I've always made myself out to be. Maybe, because that's what Leo is, the sun. It's ruled by the sun. It's light. It's the sun rising after a difficult experience. So for this reason, it can be difficult for Leo to be the bad guy, because you're usually always the savior or even the victim at times. It's really, really hard for you guys to accept that you make mistakes. And what does that come from? Let's get a little bit deeper into that, because I don't want this to come off the wrong way. You guys are the energy of the zodiac that saves people. That, again, you're the sun rising on difficult, like dark nights of the soul, right? Usually you attract in people who have gone through really difficult things because they have to have Leo energy to survive. They have to have that sun energy to get through. Okay, so that is part of your soul's journey. And again, that correlates very specifically with some issues with self that you have, because again, you're the sign after Cancer. You're sort of the level up of that really strong self experience that Cancer is. So what happens is the self is emphasized since you come after Cancer. So you have some issues with understanding what you actually want. You have some issues understanding the needs and core values of yourself. Leo is one of those signs who thinks that they want something, then when they get it, realize that that was never what it was about in the first place. And through that, you have that symbiotic sort of relationship with people needing your energy when they've gone through something difficult. So I was sort of talking about earlier how you'll have an issue with yourself, and the universe will send in all these people who highlight that. that relates directly with those people needing you as well. So I'm not just saying that it's about Leo being the bad guy or the villain or whatever, and the universe having to reprimand that. There's a symbiotic relationship with also people being very attracted to you when they're in a bad place. So do you realize that too, and think about how do you feel when you are that for somebody? When you are that sort of light that heals them, that helps them through their dark night of the soul. How does that make you feel? Do you feel powerful? How do you feel once they heal? Once they no longer need that from you? Do you feel disempowered? Because that's a really difficult thing for Leo too. When you sort of start the relationship and you get the person through the dark night of the soul, and they get past it, and then they're like, okay, bye, I don't need you anymore, I'm a healed person, I'm going to go be in a relationship with this person now, I'm going to cheat on you, I'm going to go do this or that. That tends to be a big experience for Leo as well. How does that make you feel? Do you think that you could have predicted that? Did you think when they came in, what I'm trying to say is, it's like, did you see the momentum of this? Because usually it's pretty obvious. There's a pretty obvious clue right when you meet other people that things can go this direction, but sometimes you have faith when it's not needed, or you think that, they'll change. Leo changes so much, it's very transformational, although it's also fixed fire, so it can be stubborn and change as well. But there can be a very, and not that all of y'all are doing this, but a problem that Leo can face, especially when you get an energy like Jupiter and Scorpio being introduced, is, okay, I am the reason that this person faced themselves or confronted themselves or went through this experience. Therefore, I need to start causing them problems so that they can't get out of the dark night of the soul, so that I can always be that for them. It feels to me like things like that are being created. And people could also be creating that onto you, especially if you're with someone who has other Leo placements or strong Scorpio placements. Maybe you've been with somebody who basically supplemented your dark night of the soul, and you start to realize in November, okay, now they're contributing to my pain so that I can never leave them. There are a lot of sort of unspoken shackles, a lot of unspoken bonds. I won't be surprised if the devil pops up for you guys in December, because it really feels like that to me, because November, that falls through. Anything that has to do with emotional manipulation to keep people in a certain place or to influence people's decisions through pain or darkness, which is funny how Leo can latch onto things like that, because again, you're the sun, you're sunlight, but it takes the sun to even create the darkness in the first place, or to at least cast the shadow. So do think about that sort of symbiotic relationship, and it's not the worst experience, or I want to say worst case scenario in November, Leo, is for you to be, I'm the good guy, I'm the perfect son in everyone's life, and for whatever reason people keep abandoning me, for whatever reason people keep throwing me into the garbage, and I am the victim of experience because I'm the sun and I can't control that. I have to rise on people's lives. And that's the thing, you are human, Leo. You can control who you choose, and you know good and well. The second one, because you're a very intuitive sign, you've come right after Cancer, you can see with that sunlight that you have, that you project, you can see the flaws, you can see the reality, you have that gift. So there's no really going back and saying, oh, but I didn't know that this person would do that to me, I didn't know that they would put me through this terrible experience, because you always see it, Leo, you always know the potential. But what you think that your sunlight will cleanse that darkness within them, and you know that it's there, but you get caught up on hoping that you can change that within them, but you really can't. Like, it takes somebody else to change themselves. Other people don't change people. People change themselves. So none of that, Leo. None of this. I'm just a victim. People are relying on me for all of this, and I can't help but be in their lives and try to help them, and then they just victimize me and all this kind of stuff. That will not lead you into a good karmic experience through November, because Jupiter is in Scorpio, and you have to see reality. Everybody has to be able to see reality. No delusions, no delusionment, no disillusionment, no falsities here, because it can really create a cycle in this type of energy, because it's very possible, it's very easy, it's a very conducive type of energy to being delusional, to being just completely out of it, just crazy, just over the top, outrageous. It's a very outrageous type of transit, Jupiter and Scorpio, and you can really get caught up on things which are not real. Like, your mind can create things in this type of energy that are unreal, that are figments, and you can be really termed the crazy person, especially if you're a fixed sign in this type of energy. So if you're Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, or Taurus during Jupiter in Scorpio, if you catch on to anything that's not really quite there, you can be termed like the crazy person, like the outrageous person, like stay away from them, they're completely crazy. So I'm not trying to be harsh with you guys, because I know that this is probably coming off a little bit like over the top, because I am a Leo rising myself, so I am sort of addressing myself in this way as well. And I've always had really good experiences with Leo, but through having really good experiences with Leo, I see how they are and I see their nature. So I'm just like calling a spade a spade. Your tarot has cards which are really problematic if you can't confront what you're contributing to a situation. So anyway, long intro. I want to go ahead and get into the week to week, and we'll talk more specifically about each energy. First week, 8 of Swords rooted down by 5 of Cups. This is like woe is me type of energy, like pity parties. I think that mostly y'all are surrounded by these types of people, though. You are surrounded by Eeyores. You are surrounded by people who are upset by their circumstances. And here you go into like this phase where you're like, oh, I'm going to be the sun and I'm going to shine and cast my rays onto them and heal them and change them. And then they're going to always be talking about how that was me that did that for them. Watch out about the me. Watch out about I'm going to heal people. I'm going to be the one to fix this situation. I'm going to move in with them and I'm going to change their lives, and they're going to thank me for doing that. Be careful, because Jupiter in Scorpio is not a very narcissistic type of placement, although once it becomes narcissistic, it like never heals from it. So definitely work with making it about other people, in the sense that you're not doing things for other people for yourself. Either do things for yourself, work on your own career, don't need relationships, work on the promotion, work on the business, and then let it be about you, or work on other people and let it be about them. You know what I mean? There's no really like working on other people and trying to change other people and then it being about you. There's only really like working on yourself and everything, but it has to match up. There has to be a calibration with Jupiter and Scorpio. There has to be like a common thread. Like I feel like with Jupiter in Libra, as well as Saturn and Sagittarius, there was a lot of like equal and opposite reaction. There was a lot of, okay, I'm going to focus on somebody else and then it's going to be about me. Or I'm going to, through having this sort of spiritual experience of like, learning something myself, it's going to bring in all these people. Like there was a lot of like symbiosis in that way, but now it's a little bit more streamlined. Now it's a little bit more specific, in the sense that you have to really align and calibrate what you're doing. And the selves, I almost want to say like the selves involved, like in the sense like myself, yourself, themselves. It all has to be like matching, almost like a formula, like a math equation. It all has to match up, and it's sort of like, I think the energies that have been present, I almost want to say, like, I'm not very good at math, but like you have to, what's it called? You have to, like if you have +7 on both sides of the equation, then you have to do -7 on both sides of the equation. It's like the energies that have been present. It's like on one side you would do plus, and the other side you would do minus and come to the right answer. But now that's not the case anymore. It's sort of going back to a more traditional thing where you have to take away the same amount from each side, or add the same amount from each side of the equation to come to the right answer, which is a blessing, because that's the way that the universe works. Things will finally start to go back into a normal kind of equilibrium. But I think that people have gotten used to sort of just crazy things coming to the right things and normal things feeling outrageous. And yeah, it's over the top. I'm feeling like just steamrolled by your energy, Leo. But to jump back into the first week before I go all over the place, 8 of Swords rooted down by 5 of Cups. Watch out for the Eeyores of life. Don't be around pessimists right now, because it would be really easy to have a big pity party. Like I can see a lot of Leos being in a group of people and drinking tea, and everyone talking about how terrible their love life is, everyone talking about how terrible their job is, how hard it is to make the money that they make, how many taxes they're having to pay this year, how many taxes they owe from all the years of the past, how much interest has increased on their credit cards and their loans, and it just feels like everything can be a crisis if you make it this month, Leo. And that's another thing that I feel like Leo has learned and has to learn, is everything can be a crisis. Everything. Or everything can be a blessing. Everything. So definitely take the time to spin things how you choose this month, because it feels really easy for things to be a blessing. Second week, you have 8 of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Wheel of Fortune. You get a lot from walking away from what no longer works. Again, it's not a very good time to try to make things work that you sort of knew in the back of your mind never really could. Because Leo's so powerful. Again, you're like the sun. If you want to make something work, you can. Like, you always have that ability. But do you have to? because it really feels like by walking away from something, you change your luck, you change the game, and all of this pessimistic energy changes. But the thing is a lot of you aren't going to do it, because I can tell by the second 2 weeks you've chosen to stay. You've chosen to stay put and to conserve or to be stabilized. For the smaller minority of Leos who have chosen to walk away in the second week, good for you. You sort of get a blank slate over the next 2 weeks. So honestly, like, the reading is kind of concluded for you, but just remember that you have a blank slate. If you've chosen to walk away, you can pretty much create or do whatever you want. But I think that all Leos will eventually walk away. And I feel, again, like you're in the minority, because that is reversed. It's like you're feeling like, no, I can't walk away from this. I've got to stay put. I've got to stay in this relationship. I've got to stay in this town. I've got to stay here. Okay. And through that, you kind of, you have to have the Tower experience. You have to have the Death Reversed experience, which, everyone's familiar with that by now. Like, it's been sort of the reality of 2016 and 2017. So what do you have to learn from staying, Leo? What do you have to learn from not trusting your instincts or from not walking the other direction? Is it your ego? Is it like, what are you trying to prove to yourself by maintaining something that's almost unattainable or not able to go on? But it's like you're going to do it anyway. And thinking about this in the past as well, some of you might already be out of this. I just feel some of you might already be done with this type of thing. So you definitely have to understand from the past, like, why didn't I walk away sooner than that? What did I have to go back to that was so scary that led me to maintain a situation that was so uncalibrated for me? Why couldn't I have just avoided both of the situations? Why couldn't I have just completely went off anew? Was it money? Was it fear of being alone? Was it not knowing where to go in the first place? Really find out what that was and ask yourself if that was really valid. Okay, Leos, was it valid? Validity and clarity are very important for you in November, because, again, no delusionment, no disillusionment, no more lies, no more falsity to yourself, because it's like it worked with Saturn and Scorpio. It's like you could sort of delude yourself as long as you were working towards something and using that to make things better. It kind of worked in Saturn and Scorpio, but not in Jupiter and Scorpio, because you've got to remove it all. Because if you lie to yourself now, or if you trick yourself into thinking that things are a certain way that they're not, you won't be able to reap the benefits of Jupiter and Scorpio, because it won't be able to last. Like, you'll eventually realize it one way or another, and it'll eventually fall through. And it's like Jupiter and Scorpio's like, okay, let's get it over with quick, and then we can have the nice experience. So just understand that is what's happening. Through all this coming together and through all of this sort of exploding in your face right now, it's setting you up to actually be able to reap the benefits. But it's like you can only reap so many benefits when you're trying to push and make things work, which just can't really work out. So third week, 10 of Pentacles reversed, you're done by Death reversed. Definitely financial changes, and it can be for the better. I think a lot of you are making like the most money you've ever made in your life, or are doing well, but you know that you can't maintain it. You know that you can't stay in this job, or this field is not working for you. There's something that has to change about it. As I've kind of been experiencing this myself in certain ways, as I feel like there are changes that I have to make with like what I do. I love what I do, but I feel like there are just a few changes that have to happen. And I feel like that's where you guys are as well. I mean, I'm Leo rising, so this is my energy as well. So what it is it's like, there have been changes that needed to happen with your businesses or with the way that you go about making money, but you've been scared to implement those changes because you know that what you're doing is working. It will be a testing period where you sort of have to take a risk or a leap of faith, and you will be rewarded for that. Again, if you can walk away from the traditional, if you can walk away from old disempowering experiences as it relates to making money, Leos, you can do really well. There will be sort of a test with that. Can you be brave enough to set the momentum for a change? Can you be also responsible enough to do it for long enough to like make the financial possibility to do so? All of that is sort of a factor. This can also be a transformation in the family or in the family tree, because 10 of Pentacles represents family values as well. Some of you could get like inheritance or something, or there could be an issue with inheritance, an issue with what's rightfully yours, even if it's not through like money or inheritance. Some of you could be going through a divorce or having like a division of assets, because there's something about like what is rightfully yours or somebody else's that is playing a big role in your experience right now. Do consider that, and make sure that you're being operated through integrity. Like you're not just getting things for vengefulness, because that's another thing with Jupiter and Scorpio. It can be like a vengeful type of energy. And you can be lucky with that type of thing, but it never lasts, and it always like makes you feel really bad about yourself. So definitely be operating with integrity during this time. As you move into the fourth week, there's the Tower with the Three of Wands reversed. You know, whatever has to leave, leaves by the fourth week, Leo, so you might as well let go of it earlier. You might as well, and some of you already have. Some of you have done amazing. Some of you have already, did the thing, let go of the thing, let it fall through. Props to you, because you will have already dealt with it by then, and you'll already sort of be over it by then. But, and to sort of be a little bit more softer with some of this energy that I feel coming through. For those of you who've been in a relationship for a long time, or, and you know that it can't last, you know that it's about to fall through, you know that the breakup's about to happen, but you do feel like you love the person, take the first 3 weeks of November and enjoy being with that person. Enjoy your life as you know it in the first 3 weeks of November, even if it feels very stale, even if you feel like you hate where you're at in life, or you hate the things that you're doing in life. Take the first 3 weeks in November and enjoy it, because it's going to change. Things are going to change drastically for Leo, starting in the fourth week of November. So take some time to sort of access any Cancer nature that you have, or any Scorpio nature. And despite how difficult the situation is, take it in, absorb what it has to offer you, feel it, experience it, because it's gone after the fourth week of November. Okay. So for those of you who have amends to make, for those of you who have closures to pursue, for those of you who have people to tell how things were, do it before the fourth week of November, because things change forever. And how beautiful that is. And some of you are kind of worried about that. Death reversed is about like resisting change, resisting transformation. It's kind of good to see the Tower come right after that, because it's sort of like you get the third week to sort of flirt with, oh, well, I can maintain this forever. I can maintain this lifestyle as long as I want, and I can maintain this codependent relationship as long as I want. And then the fourth week comes in, it's like gone, and it's for the best. And try to not be too overwhelmed by it in the fourth week, because what needs to be let go of will be let go of. And for those of you, I don't want to like freak anyone out, like anything that's like positive and working well for you in your life is going to stay. The Tower only dissolves the things which are hindering and hurting us. So if you're doing wonderful things, or if you feel empowered by things which are secure and things which aren't divisive or manipulative or relying on people to hurt for you to succeed, then it won't fall through. It'll be successful and it will work out. It's wonderful to see that written down by Three of Wands too. What will be really nice will be for you guys to not have that in reverse though. Three of Wands is such a natural and beautiful reaction to the Tower energy, because it's like everything falls through and you think, okay, let's look over the horizon and let's see where we go from here. Let's not look back, let's look forward. Something about the Three of Wands is it doesn't look back. If you're wondering if someone will come back to you, the answer is no. Also with Five of Cups as well. Eight of Cups. I think that some of you are really curious, okay, is this person going to come back to me? Is this person who had the breakup with, are they going to come back? Probably not. And it's a good thing. Whenever these cards which have the back turned come up, it's like a really big blessing, especially with like Death and the Tower being here as well. Really big blessing, because it often says that, there's a universal intervention there. Had they wanted to come back to you, it would like ruin your life. Or I've even seen really extreme examples where people like lose interest in you or in your energy, because had they not, they would literally become like psycho and like they could like want to kill you or something. Like seriously, I've seen things like that before. So always appreciate this energy when it comes in, even if you feel like you're being completely ruined by the universe. Try to understand that there's a plan or reason behind why people aren't looking back. Start over, find new people. Go do the international trip you've always wanted to do. Write the record, write the book, do the art exhibition. Do what it is that Leo has been wanting to do, and stop thinking about other people who are broken and that you need to heal, or that you need to show the truth. Okay? Show yourself the truth, Leo. If you can't do it for yourself, you can't do it for anyone else. It doesn't matter how strong your sunlight is. Okay? So, without further ado, wonderful, wonderful reading for you guys. Probably the most powerful reaction I've had to a reading so far this month. I wasn't expecting it. And I forgot to mention, you guys, that you have that Four of Wands as your central theme. Celebrate all of this. Celebrate it all. It goes without saying. That's all of these difficult energies are tied up by celebration, by a worry is you can feel a little bit manic. You can feel a little bit like really up and down, but it's positive in the sense that you can at least see positivity in the destruction that might be happening, because it's sort of like a spiritual pruning. Like you're pruning off what has to die so you can grow back stronger. But yeah, wonderful reading. I'm a little bit like overtaken by it, but I really hope it resonated for you guys, and I hope that you can find something that's helpful for you. This creates really wonderful things for you guys. Don't be deceived by the difficulty, because sometimes Leo can do that. Sometimes Leo thinks, okay, it's a dark experience. That means my life is over. My life is ruined. There is no turning back, because you're the sun, and you're like, if there's darkness, then I've got to rise and shine on it. Not necessarily here. Cleanse, purge, detox, embrace that Jupiter and Scorpio energy. If you guys would like to book a private reading with me, that should be popping up on your screen right now, as well as you can check out my Fall in Humanity video, which I did to talk about some more archetypal energies. Check out my Patreon post below in the description box, where I talk about Jupiter and Scorpio through the signs, and your likes, comments, and subscribes keep me going. I will be talking to you guys in December. Much love. Bye.